Hello, and welcome to our special program in conjunction with International Women's Day. I am Mangalis. Every year, International Women's Day is marked on the 8th of March, and it's celebrated to in celebration of the achievements of women and to create awareness on the need to have equal opportunities for women. The campaign theme for this year's International Women's Day is Break the Bias. In our program today, we will be interviewing Brigadier General Fadzillah Abdullah, who is one of the first women Air Force pilots with the Royal Malaysian Air Force. Now, way back in 1986, when the Royal Malaysian Air Force said that it planned to recruit women pilots, there was a lot of concern. Some people said outright that being an Air Force pilot is not something for women. And in a letter to the editor of a newspaper, one person wrote very strongly about how he felt. He said, I can't help feeling amused with the Royal Malaysian Air Force decision to recruit women pilots. And he went on to give his reasons. He said, besides just having an aptitude to fly, one must also have the physique, the strength, the courage, and the mental alertness to fly a military plane. And then he said, most of our Air Force planes do not have air-conditioned cockpits with piped-in music like what you find in Mars planes. And further, he added, transport Air Force planes in particular were sturdy workhorses, and the pilot and air crew have to sweat it out during pre-flight inspections. He went on to ask what would happen when the women decided to get married and get pregnant. Or he asked, is the Royal Malaysian Air Force planning to tell the women not to have any family until their 13 years service is over? Well, this was the sentiment 36 years ago. However, the Royal Malaysian Air Force recruited the first batch of women pilots in 1986. And one of the first women Air Force pilots recruited was Brigadier General Fadzillah Abdullah. She went on and underwent a tough and rigorous training, and she passed and received her wings and became a qualified pilot. Thereafter, she flew a number of aircraft, including transport Air Force planes. And she has also gone on to have a family and children while still in service with the Royal Malaysian Air Force. And after the first 13 years of their service, she did not quit. She continued working and going from strength to strength, and she's now been with the Royal Malaysian Air Force and the Malaysian Armed Forces for 36 years. And she's in a top leadership post as a Brigadier General. Despite the success that she has carved out for herself, Brigadier General Fadzillah Abdullah remains a very friendly and approachable person and is truly humble. Let's now welcome Brigadier General Fadzillah Abdullah. Welcome, Brigadier General Fadzillah. Good day to
Hi,
you.
good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for taking the time to give us this interview today. And I'd like to start off with a short CV of you, so for the viewers' knowledge.
Okay.
Brigadier General Fadzillah Abdullah joined the Royal Malaysian Air Force in 1986 after completing her degree in electrical engineering from Farley Dickinson University in New Jersey, USA. She did her basic flying training in the Pilatus PC-7 aircraft and graduated as a transport pilot in August 1988. And then she flew the Cessna 402B. During the Gulf War in the early 1990s, with her academic background and flying experience, she was selected to be among the pioneers in electronic warfare stream in the Royal Malaysian Airforce. Later, she served in the Plans and Procurement Department for 10 years. Brigadier General Fadzillah has a master's degree in project management from the New South Wales University, Australia, and a diploma in strategic and defense studies from University Malaysia. Throughout her career, she has also flown the CASA CN 235-200M and the Beechcraft 350I. Prior to her present post as Director General of Defense Training in the Malaysian Armed Forces headquarters, Brigadier General Fadzillah attended the National Strategic Policy course at the Canadian Forces College in Toronto for a year. Brigadier General Fadzillah is married to a former Royal Malaysian Air Force pilot and blessed with 3 grown-up sons. She's also blessed with a granddaughter. Very impressive CV, Brigadier General.
Thank
Can I
you.
start off by asking you, when you returned from the United States after completing your electrical engineering degree, why did you decide to apply to become an Air Force pilot?
Oh, okay. Because when I good evening all, when I studied in USA, I was under the scholarship of the Armed Forces. So when after I complete my studies, I have to serve the Armed Forces for 10 years. So during the interview, my first selection was to become a naval officer, but at that time they were not lady intake for the Navy. So at the same time, the Air Force at that time were starting to have to open up a lady pilot. So they asked me whether I'm interested to join. And me being a young girl at that time, only 22 years old, I said, yeah, why not? And then to make it seems looks easy to me, because when I go back, when I told my parents, they say okay. And my mother, not even once she asked me, whether I'm afraid or whether can I do it. So they make it as if that to become a pilot is just like one of the things that anyone can do. So that's why I opted for the pilot. Yeah.
Oh, that's very good. So your parents were very supportive of
Yes.
your
Very, very.
dream
Yeah.
to be.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
And then how about the training that you underwent? How
Oh,
tough was it?
ooh, very tough, because I'm a graduate. So that means when I joined the military, I straight away joined as a my before I went for the flying school. My training as a officer is very short, unlike compared to my male counterpart. They are already had the training for 1 or 2 years. And naturally, in terms of physically, of course, they are far advanced than, they are stronger than me. And me too, at the same time, I'm quite feminine, you know. But at that time, I didn't think of nothing can be done. At that time, I said, I can do it. I don't care. And I said at that time, how bad I am, I won't be among the last among my group. There will be someone who is worse than me. I always think like that. So that's why I think, in a way, it's true, and it helps to have that thinking. And yeah, I made it as a pilot. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then when we looked back at some of the news
Yeah.
making the newspapers in 1986, we
Yeah.
noticed the newspapers had a lot of news about the all the first women Air Force pilots. So I'd like to share some old newspaper clippings, and maybe
Okay.
you can let us know what the occasion was.
Okay.
The first one, last laugh on the boys. This is from the Malay Mail of 1986. Who are these boys?
Because when I came back from States was in July. So from July to October, before we start our training, naturally there were a lot of people asking me, "Where are you going, Fed, after this?" So I said, "I'm going to be a pilot." And all the guys were laughing at me. They said, "Don't be ridiculous. You won't make it. So well, I guess at that time they were trying to promote the ladies, so I guess the story somehow leaked out, and it turned out to be like that.
That's good. So at the end, you became a pilot, and as like the article says, you had the last laugh. Okay. The second one is another one from the Utusan, Malaysia.
Yeah.
And the headline to this news is Fadzillah Akhiri Monopoly Lelaki. Okay, what is happening here?
Yeah, because during this time, I think it was early October. At that time, I was still the only candidate at that time, because at that time my other two friends has not been selected yet, because I was an armed forces scholar. So my interview was earlier, right? So
So
that's
you
why
were already recruited. You
yes,
were the first to be
yes,
recruited.
yes, yes. I was famous at that time.
Okay, and then we have another newspaper cutting, and this one not very clear. This from the Straits Times.
Yes, yes, yes. I
Okay,
remember this. I remember this very well, because before we had to go before we could join as a pilot, they took us up on the PC-7 to see whether we have the aptitude for flying, to see whether we can make it. So this picture is after all the three of us came down, and this picture somehow became like a
yes, and
yes,
it's the wordings there at the
yes,
bottom. It says pioneers, and
yes,
it's not obvious, but I can read it out. A small step forward, a giant leap for Malaysian women, and then it
yes.
states there from left to right, standing is Zainab Sharif, then Fadzillah Abdullah, and Emilia Kamaruddin. The
That's
three
right.
of
That's right.
you were the first three cadet women
Yes.
pilots.
Yes, that's
That's
right. Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And then one more newspaper, sorry, and this one is a little bit clearer of the three of
Oh,
you.
yeah. This is after we got our wing. After we did. It was in I think in August '88. After we got our wing, after we completed our flying. With the aircraft behind the PC-7. So this
Okay.
picture also
So
was like yeah.
you had graduated.
Yes, graduated. Yeah. Yeah.
And then this is a good picture. It's not very clear.
Yeah, it's a news. It's my parents, and that's my younger sister at that time. So yeah, I think they are very proud of me. My parents. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very good to know. And Brigadier General Fadzillah, when you started, all right, we'd like to know a little bit of the aircraft that you used and what other aircraft you flew in. For example, your training, what was the aircraft? And after that, the other aircraft that you flew and what were they used for?
Okay. My For training we use the PC-7 Mark II. It is a trainer aircraft. It has a dual seater and a single engine. So the student we sit in front, the instructor will sit behind, and of course after certain hours we have to fly this aircraft solo. And then after flying for about 180 hours, then we can get our wing as a pilot. Yeah. Then
Okay,
after, yeah. Then after that, from the PC-7, because I'm a transport pilot, I have to train from a single engine and a solo pilot to a dual engine and multi-crew aircraft. So my next aircraft was the Cessna 402 Bravo. And we do a lot at that time. We do a lot of VIP flying, com flight, medivac, photo mapping, and surveillance. Yeah. Yeah, this aircraft. We used to call it the sports car of the Air Force.
yeah, it does have a sports car look.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Any other aircraft that
Or
you
after,
flew?
yes, after that, flew the CN 235 200M. It's a bigger aircraft than the Cessna. We can do para jumping, and we can carry more cargo and go further. Yeah, this aircraft. Yeah.
This looks quite a sturdy aircraft.
Yes, yes, it is.
And any other aircraft that you flew?
Okay. After as a pilot in the military, after a certain years and a certain rank, we don't really fly full time, but we have to keep currency of our flying. So I keep currency on my hours on the King Air 350i. Yeah.
Okay, this is the flight. This is the one, I think.
Yes, it is.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so this is still being used
Yes,
for.
still in use. Yeah, it's new.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
And Brigadier General Fadzillah, when you're up there flying, in the skies and piloting a plane, how does it feel like?
Oh, every time we get airborne, the moment we get airborne, I feel that everything is left behind on the ground. Especially on the fine good weather, it's the blue sky, and at night sometimes we can see a lot of stars, and sometimes we see rainbow. We even see two rainbow crossing. So actually, to be a pilot, it's an advantage because at the same time, it's a therapy to the mind and the heart. Yeah.
Yeah, most people have to take time out from work to get therapy. You are fortunate. You are
Yes.
able to be up there all by yourself and
Yes.
marvel at the beauty of
Yes,
nature, and
true.
that is
Very true. Very
relaxation.
true. Yes, yes. Uh-uh.
And can you share any memorable time as a woman pilot where somebody found that they were not so happy with you being a woman pilot?
Oh yes, I will never forget this incident because one of our, like I said, the Cessna, we used to do photo mapping, so we usually have a dedicated crew from the mapping department. So all the while I was flying, I was the co-pilot. So co-pilot, you sit on the right. So they always take me as part of the crew. Suddenly, and one day I was preparing the stuff and everything, and I put everything on the right, and I was sitting on the right, and they asked me, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm the aircraft for the flight today," and you can see from
You
their
are the
face, they will
captain,
see, yeah,
captain for the flight.
yes, I was the captain for the aircraft, so you can see that they as if they want to jump out from the aircraft, they don't want to fly with me. But we took off and we did the photo mapping, and we come back. And I tell you, God was great because that day I landed soundless and very smooth, and they all clap their hand. Can you imagine if I have landed with the boom? Definitely they will say, "That's it. I told you, lady cannot fly." But because of that first incident, I landed so smooth. After that, they are not bothered anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
got the confidence,
Yes,
and
that's right. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
good.
yeah,
And
yeah,
Brigadier General Fazila, we know that more women have also, since you became an Air Force pilot, they've also become pioneers in other
yeah,
areas in the Air Force. I
yeah.
understand we've also had women fighter pilots.
Yes, we do. Yeah,
Who
yeah.
was the first Malaysian women fighter pilot in the Royal Malaysian Air Force?
Okay. She was is Amelia. She was with me together in the flying school. She flew the Hawk and the Skyhawk. Yeah.
Okay,
So
Amelia.
yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's her, and that's the aircraft
And
behind her. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the fighter jet that she flew
Yes.
is the
Yeah.
Skyhawk.
Yes. The
Okay. Is
Skyhawk.
Amelia still in service with the Royal
Unfortunately,
Malaysian Air Force?
unfortunately, after the 25 years of service, she opted out, and now she's with the Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia, and she's the head of licensing. That means she still fly outside and do auditing on the pilot on the civil side. Yeah.
Okay. And after she left, now we do have another second woman
Yes,
fighter
yes,
pilot, I understand.
yes, we
Who
do.
is this? person?
yeah, is Lieutenant Colonel Patricia Yap. She's still in the Air Force, and she used to fly the MiG-29. Yeah, yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
the
Yeah,
MiG-29. That's a
yes,
very, it used to, she was trained to fly the MiG-29.
yes, and she even in fact she was even part of the aerobatic team for the MiG-29. Yeah,
Oh, okay. That's
yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah.
And recently, about 2 years ago, we also heard that we've had the first woman, Malaysian woman, Indian woman
Ah,
pilot.
yes,
Can
we
you tell
do.
us something about her?
Yeah, it's Lieutenant Loha. She completed her flying in she already got her wing from Alustar, and she has been selected to fly the Airbus for Airbus 400, and she just completed her ground school there. Yeah, is the aircraft is to be able to fly the aircraft, to be selected to fly aircraft is an honor itself, because the aircraft is one of the most sophisticated aircraft we have now in the Air Force. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
So the women, you opened the pathways for other women to also excel. That's really good.
yeah. Because they, because
Brigadier,
they because they themselves excel. Yeah.
yeah, they have the passion, the
Yes. Yeah.
aptitude,
Yes.
and they
Yeah.
enjoy flying.
Yes.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
And Brigadier General Fadzillah, after you joined the Air Force, you have now, after a long period of service, you have come to a top leadership post. You are the Brigadier General for Defense Training. Now, can I ask you that during the time that you moved, I mean, from one rank to the other, there must be some training courses, further training, further courses that you would have had to go undertake. Just to ask, how did you manage doing all the courses and stay in service, and as well as manage your small family at that time?
Okay. Yeah, as a military, in order for us to put on our rank, there are certain courses, mandatory courses that we have to take. In fact, I remember when I took my staff college before I put on my rank as a lieutenant colonel. I was proud to say that I was the best student. First time the
It's
lady
very
became best
good.
student. Yes, but at that time, when I was elected, they were saying that why there's no other men, But now we have a lot of the ladies have been becoming a best student. We even have the best flyer, lady best flyer. So, and at the same time, when I was doing my masters, when I was elected to do my masters, when the human resource called me and they said, Fadzillah, you can go, but your husband cannot come along, because at that time he was flying the VVIP squadron. So I said, okay, I have to ask him, right? I cannot just say straight away yes. So when I asked my husband, and he answered, he straight away said, you go, I'll take care of the children. If he have said that, oh no, how about me? How about the children? Then I'll think twice. So in a way, I'm rather blessed to have a husband who support my career, and at the same time, my support of my family too. Not only my family, my in-laws, my neighbors, my maid, my babysitter, all the people surrounding me. And now I'm working in a department that involves the Army, Navy, Air Force, and they are an awesome crew. The support that they give me make me smell like a rose to my bosses. Yeah, so to me, whatever I am now here is not because of me alone, it's because of the support of the people surrounding me. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And
Yeah,
can I ask you that you were selected also to do some work on electronic warfare. Can
yeah.
I know what is this electronic warfare and why were you selected?
I think I was selected at that time because of my like I said, because my degree in electrical engineering, and also for my experience, because it is the electronic warfare is the use of the electronic spectrum in for us to use when there is war, or when it's like in layman term, like you eavesdropping on people, you jamming on people's communication. There's those kind of thing. We do because we need. And now, as you know, everything works on electronics, right? So we have to have a superior in electronic in order to be to be, an advantage if there is war. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And Brigadier General Fadzillah,
Yes.
today you are holding a very top leadership post in the Malaysian Armed Forces. I understand that you are the first Director General of Defense, first woman Director General of Defense Training in the Malaysian Armed Forces. Can we know this very powerful job? What is your job function and what work does it involve?
Okay, our former CDF, he said that the Malaysian Armed Forces is a war-going organization operating at peacetime. So we, the all the military personnel, have to be always ready and achieve a certain standard. So we and the courses and all the training are not only in Malaysia, but we have to have courses together with with other countries. And of course, we have a lot of training among the ASEAN country, and also we have courses with Western, like Australia, the US, the UK, German, and Canada. Yeah. So I'm actually in charge of the training for um, uh, all the courses,
On
overseas courses.
electronic
Yes,
warfare, yeah.
not only electronic warfare, but all the basic courses for
Defense
the
training.
military. Yes, yes,
Defense training.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's very good to know. And Brigadier General Fadzillah, we have got some photos of you at work, both locally and when you were doing bilateral, meeting your counterparts overseas. So what
Okay,
we have done is to show what important work you are doing now. We
okay.
have put the photos into a short video. And credit for this video goes to our Family Wellness Club Secretary, Nabila Muhammad Sahi. So let's take a look now at what Nabila has put together.
Okay. Ah, that's nice. Thank you, Nabila.
Yes, thank you. We are happy that you like it. Now, what we also would like to comment is, of course, your capabilities, your skills, and all must have been outstanding for you to have been chosen. But we also must credit the Royal Malaysian Air Force and the Malaysian Armed Forces for giving women the equal opportunity in leadership positions. You have been now with the Armed Forces for 36 years. How do you find it?
Wow. you know, um, I enjoyed the life. I enjoyed the military life. I doesn't mind the punctuality. I don't mind the discipline issues. You know, or else, as you know, we military we could leave the service after 25 years of service. But as you say, I've been here for 36 years, and I think I had a good life in the Air Force. True, there are some hurdles that I have to go through, but not I'm very proud to be not only I'm involved with the organization that safeguard the sovereignty of our country, of our nation, but at the same time, I believe I help to open the way for ladies to progress more in the Air Force. Because it takes time. Never mind, slowly but surely we'll be there. Yeah.
Okay, that's very good to hear,
Yeah.
Brigadier General Fadzillah. Now, I'd like to just touch on a little bit on your family. Uh, do you mind sharing with us about where you were born and how you grew up,
Okay.
and a little about your parents and your
Okay.
husband?
Okay, yeah, I was born on 1st November 1964, and on that year, 1st November was a Deepawali Day. So yeah, so my father was a military officer and my mother was a government servant. So I was born in Kuala Lumpur. I grew up most of my time in Petaling Jaya, but when my father retired, we all moved to Port Dickson. So I did my final Form 5 in Port Dickson. So I'm like I have two brothers and two sisters. I'm the eldest of the five, and yes, I'm married to Ahmad Mahathir. He was a former Air Force pilot, now flying with MAS, and I have three boys, and I'm also blessed with a granddaughter. Yeah.
Okay, and that's really very nice. And we've also got some photos of your family, some exclusive photos which we'd like to share. And we are
Okay.
sharing this with your permission. Thank you so
Okay.
much. So maybe you can tell us, when was this first photo taken and who are in this photo?
Okay. Oh, okay. This is with my mother and my father and with my sibling. I think, but this is quite another old picture. It's about like maybe like 6 years ago. Yeah, 6 or 7 years
And are
ago.
you the one on the right,
Yes.
sitting next to
Yes.
your father?
Yes.
And
Yes. I
the
am.
others, your
Yeah.
brothers and
Yes.
sisters?
That's right.
You are the
Yeah.
eldest, right, in your
Yes.
family?
Yeah. Yes, I
Okay.
am. Yeah.
And then we've got this very beautiful picture of you and your husband.
Ah. Okay.
When was this taken?
It was 2 years ago. Makeup, makeup. That's why it looks nice.
Oh, you look very elegant, and your
Thank you.
husband looks very distinguished.
Thank you.
Charming couple. And then we also got another photo of the two of you here.
Oh, okay. This was we went to Perth. I think this must be about like 6 or 7 years ago. We went, the two of us. We left the children home, and the two of us just went went for holiday.
Yes,
Uh,
you're spending time. That's
yes,
excellent to
yeah,
time together. And
yes.
then we have one more photo of you here with your
Oh,
boys.
yes. This is with my eldest and my youngest. This is actually quite recent. Last year in Langkawi. Yeah.
Okay. And one more photo here of with another son.
This is my second son, the one who got married. Yeah, he and they just this one was right before the COVID, before the pandemic
Okay.
start. Yes.
And with your granddaughter.
Yes, the apple of my eyes.
That's great. So it's good to see that you've had such an enriching family life as well. You have struck a good balance between your high profile career, and you've had a good, I mean, you were able to spend time with your family and make time for them. Now, in your free time, what are your hobbies?
I love cooking and baking. So since from the first day I got married, when I'm home, I'll prepare the dinner. So because the kitchen is the heart of my house, the kitchen is where a lot of laughter and stories are being told. So yeah, and I like it when everybody when we sit all together for dinner and everybody start talking. I think that is the best time for us to be. Yeah. And I think having boys as children is an advantage. You know, they eat everything.
They are waiting for home cooked food. It's
Yes.
wonderful. You see, one of the situations we have now, one of the problems is a lot of women, they find their career takes up a lot of time. You don't just work in the office, you work at home. So they don't have that much time to make home cooked meals for their family. So it's
No.
excellent that you can still do it.
Yeah, because to me, cooking calms me, you know. So when I'm worried or I'm feeling stressed up, especially baking, then when you beat the butter and the eggs together, you know, somehow you imagine that the egg and the butter you're beating like somebody's, that you don't like. So it works. It works. I tell you, it works. So I
It's good
think
therapy.
yes, good therapy. So I suggest to them, like you said, if you said the young girls to try it, and and you see how it works. Yeah.
Okay. That's very good to know. And Brigadier General Fadzillah, before we let you go, I'd like to ask you, what advice can you give women who have the passion and they would like to have a career, a challenging career, but they are afraid of the bias against them?
Okay. Always think positive. When you think positive, then the result will come out as positive. True. I know some people, they always say that we women have to work to do double to be seen equal as a man. Never mind, we are strong, we are smart, we can afford to do the double thing. When we do more, we learn more. Knowledge is never a waste. And of course, whatever you do, you must do it. You must enjoy what you do, and you must do it for yourself, not for someone else, so that of course when sometimes you don't really get what you want, but at least because if you do it for yourself, then I will, I can do it better. But if you do for someone else, the disappointment will be more greater. So whatever it is, enjoy what you do, and always think that you know if other people can do it, why not us? Okay. And yeah, and true, some people will talk about us, but don't worry, people will always talk about you, whether it's good or bad. The it worst come to worst, to make you feel better, you always say to yourself, oh, that people talking bad about me because he's jealous of me, to make you feel better, because, and also remember, the people who talk bad about you is very little. The people who support you and give you encouragement is a lot. So always take the positive one. So, and finally, what I can say is always be kind. When you be kind, the return is always double. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's very inspiring words.
Thank you.
Brigadier General Fadzillah, thank you so much
Come.
for giving us this interview
It's a
and
pleasure.
also giving us good advice. Your journey has been a truly inspiring one.
Thank
And
you.
on behalf of Family Wellness Club, we'd like to wish you all the best in your future undertakings, and we hope
Thank you.
you will soar to greater heights.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank
And it's a
you.
pleasure to be here. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Well, uh, Brigadier General Fadzillah Abdullah has shared with us her inspiring journey from the time she started her career being one of the pioneer women Air Force pilots with the Royal Malaysian Air Force. And what's interesting is at that time there was a lot of bias against women becoming Air Force pilots, and she did break the bias. And she went on to open the path for a lot of other women.
Okay.
And then the second achievement is this, that she went on and uh, continued her training further and took up courses, passed exams, and she is now in a very high level leadership position with the armed forces. And that is again another big achievement, because in Malaysia, the target for women in leadership top leadership positions of the target of 30% has still not been achieved. And we are only at about 17 to 18% of the top leadership has been achieved. So wonderful again for Brigadier General Fadzillah, a second achievement. And the third achievement is the fact that she has been able to balance a high-powered profile career so well with her family life. So we don't have to give up anything. We can always find a good balance. So with that, I hope uh, we all have found inspiration in the journey that Brigadier General Fadzillah Abdullah has shared with us. Tomorrow is International Women's Day. On behalf of Family Wellness Club, I'd like to wish all women a very happy International Women's Day. And to all others who have been watching this program, thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay well.